Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, mu, nu.
Remembering your college pledging days?
Yeah, I think they travel. A content guy, a photographer, and a safety guy. Yeah, last spring was really fantastic. Compared to where our base location was like,
Carrots are gone.
Check, check, check. You was good with levels? Awesome. Are you good with levels? Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. 1. What's up, Jay? What's happening? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. You good? All right. You guys good with mics?
Well, they definitely have a clean setup of that. They should easily practice. Well, I'd rather go early and acclimate. How are you doing?
That's a serious magnet on that thing.
Feels good not to be rushing for 1 year.
You tell me. I agree.
Stop getting questions.
I'll take it.
We're talking about B-Roof, right?
That's who I was. You were the first person on mine.
Me and my negativity.
Yeah. Are you gonna go home when you come back?
I'm not my parents.
Yeah. be out of town.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're going.
I'll be in the officer today though.
Heading down to Conway.
Can't wait.
That's exciting.
Conway.
Imagine missing Maryland Northwestern field hockey.
Dude, I'm actually kind of bummed about that.
I guess. I wouldn't be bummed to miss the Indiana one. I'd be bummed to miss.
Yeah.
Dude, there's 3
Sometimes you gotta make
all
sacrifices.
at once.
To go to Conway, you gotta make the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. Nah, it'll be a fun. Well, I don't like me either.
Press box beer.
That was insane. I've never seen like an Ohio State like sweatshirt on.
You know hoodie on. So I think he was yes or something. But they found their way up here, just sitting in one of the DC the games,
And
right?
then they were talking about the guy who just had like a stout long tall boy. You're like insane.
So then you're talking about
And tall boys.
all boys are wild. But we were speaking to it was like having a press box beer is wild. But if you what's the class beer you get? What's that? I was like, in a bottle? Sure. Like, yeah. I was like, I feel like you can get away with this.
Never in my life.
This is a little classy.
I've never seen it in my life.
No, or like a Heineken.
But like as soon as
You're not getting a PBR.
As soon as the game started, they just both took off and like. So they definitely would not. No, definitely not. They were sitting in like scout seats.
Yeah, they're sitting in the Ravens.
Yeah.
Reels or
Ohio State drinking a Stella Artois. We were like insane, like insane.
wearing a Ohio State Maryland red going on in this game anyways. We don't also need to ask Scarlet. We don't also need Ohio State.
Dude, I saw us at a gas station this morning, and it looked like someone had a rough night.
Damn. That's rough.
Flies till dawn, man.
The Falcon flies in.
Appreciate you guys coming out and understanding with the schedule change for today with the players after practice. We'll start with some opening remarks from Coach Locksley, and then we'll take your guys' questions.
Sure. Again, as always, appreciate you guys and your interest in the program. At the midway point of our season, game 6 here, and a lot of reason for frustration for us the last couple of weeks of not being able to finish and get it done. But I also will say that it's also a lot of optimism in our program because of how we've played, this first half of the season. And so the frustration stems from knowing the kind of team that we have and the type of work that these guys have put in, and the buy-in that we've gotten from each and every one of the players, our staff, and then the optimism, obviously, because I know this team is different than any team that I've had a chance to coach here during my tenure as the head coach. We play very clean in games. We don't turn the ball over. Our margin of error on offense has been the three lowest margin of errors that I've seen. I think we had 5.8% of the plays we had on Saturday contained a self-inflicted, a drop, a fumble, interception, penalty on offense, a sack. 5% of the plays we had contained one of those self-inflicted wounds on offense. Our defense continues to turn the ball over, get turnovers from the opponent. And so when you look at those small victories and the progress that we've made playing clean, getting turnovers, doing things like that, what we got to do now is figure out how to finish in the fourth quarter. And, for the last two games, it's my job to figure that out, and I think we've gotten to the gist of it. I see a tremendous amount of growth in this team each and every game we play. When we emphasize things, I see them work to get it fixed. Monday, we shifted our attention to UCLA, and it's a short week for us. We've got to get a lot of stuff done, and we head out on Thursday morning pretty early in order to acclimate and get ourselves situated out there out west. We've adjusted a few things in our weekly schedule. We're going a little earlier today. We've got, I guess, the first fall break to where we didn't have class yesterday or today, so we can move things up, which gives us a little more time for recovery and rest on the back end. And again, we're excited about this opportunity. We're facing a team in UCLA that has been given life. They've coming off of a big road win a week ago against Michigan State. They're playing really hard for their interim coach, Coach Skipper, who, I've known him for a while. He's has done a great job the last few weeks of rallying those guys, and you can tell they're playing very fearless. They're playing as if they have nothing to lose, and when you watch them on tape, they're playing together. So I'm really excited about us to have a chance to go out west, get this thing back on the right side of things, to get back here and be able to have a bye week to get healthy once again. Our game captains this week, Shalik Knotts, Cam Rice, and Bryce McPherson will be leading us as game captains. And with that, I'll open it up to whatever questions you guys have.
Yeah, Mike, you mentioned just a minute ago about getting the gist of it in fourth quarter and closing. How has that kind of been addressed in practice and in meetings the past couple of days?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for me. Going into the season, depth has been an issue, and so what I have to do, and this is, again, I always look at it, what things can I do better to maybe fix some of the issues. And when you look at the way last week we didn't finish in the fourth quarter. The last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, we had opportunities to, and I saw our tackles, the missed tackles really jumped out to me in the fourth quarter. I saw our lack of execution, our inability to make plays that are there to be made, and it was coming from most of our really good players that have made plays all game long. And so, one of the things that I've come up with, and again, it's just really deep diving, is I got to do a better job of getting some younger players, some guys in a little earlier in the first, second quarter to take some plays off of the veteran starters. I mean, if you look at the amount of reps that guys like Daniel Wingate has had to take for us, and a freshman like Zaire Mathis and the amount of plays he has to play, it's my job to try to figure out how, instead of him playing 70 plays, how do I get him to play 55 plays, bring a young Flowers 23 or Michael Harris, let them play a little bit more earlier in the game so that our best players are in the best possible position to make plays in the fourth quarter. And that's me. That's what I have to do. And what I've challenged each and every one of our people in our program is, let's all take a deep dive into the things we can do. I challenged our starters, the really good players, about it's not just me having to adjust to make sure you get and you can get to the fourth quarter. It's about recovery during the week. It's about your sleep. It's about your nutrition. You know, knowing that we have a smaller size team than we've had in the years past, it's up to all of us to make some adjustments to ensure we're playing our best when we need to. And I think our players understand that. I see it a lot more clear now as a head coach, and we're working to get that fixed.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
What's up, man?
Hey, so I know that this is a results-driven sport, obviously, but, you know, you talk about the level of optimism that you have with this team. In all your years of coaching, man, have you ever looked back on a stretch like this, losing 2 tough games back-to-back, and said, you know, maybe we needed this to become the best version of ourselves? You know,
I always try to compare and look back, and this team does have a little bit of a feel. I told our team the other day to kind of remind me of the 2020 team we had here. That was really the foundational piece. That COVID year was kind of the foundational piece, which kind of got us over the hump. We had some tough losses during that time, found a way to win a couple. And this team kind of reminds me of that 2020 team because it was a bunch of young players, first-year guys. I think that was Leah Tungavailoa's first year as our quarterback, and was an influx of talent that we brought in, and it's similar to that. But I think the big thing for us is we just got to endure. I mean, endurance is one of the hardest things to do because when everything around you tells you to stop, tells you to it's not going to work, it's usually right before you have the breakthrough. And so to play as clean as we've played with winning the turnover battle, not playing, you know, on offense, not just having a bunch of drops and a bunch of things that cause you to not win, that gives me the optimism that we're really close to the breakthrough that we need to have. I like to see us get it fixed this week, which is always, you know, the goal when we head on the road trip. This is a big road trip for us going out west, but I like the way that this team has approached it and the buy-in that I've gotten out of them, even through 2 tough losses.
And you mentioned that road trip. You know, UCLA loses a 4 straight to open up the season and 2 big wins for them. What have you seen from them that's kind of changed from their first 4 games up until now, and what is it going to take for you all to walk out of there with a victory?
Well, they're a talented team. If you're in the Big Ten, you got talent. I think the biggest issue is the mindset shift that there's something about the pressure being off of you when you're an interim head coach, which I've done that twice now. I call it playing with house money. I mean, you got 0 to lose. You can go out, call flea flickers. You can call double passes. You can onside kick. You're allowed. You can do whatever you need to because you got nothing to lose other than, hey, let's find a way to kind of get this group going. And Coach Skipper has found a way to do that. That staff has done a tremendous job in a tough circumstance, and having been there, I know exactly what they're going through. But I got to give credit to their staff and to those players of how they've been able to stay together and find a way to get 2 wins. And with that being said, we got to figure out how to go out west and get our stuff together and make the corrections we need to get us back on that side of the winning.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
What's up?
You just mentioned the success that they've had. Running the ball has looked really good statistically for them, over 250 yards across these last 2 games. For you guys who maybe struggled against the run against Nebraska too, you mentioned those corrections. How has run defense kind of been an emphasis going into this game?
Yeah, so I would say one, you know, playing the run is mostly gap control, gap sound. I thought we played the run really well. I mean, they hit, I think, 163 rushing yards on 3 or 4 plays. So those are explosives. And to me, you know, the consistency of being able to stop the run, I think most people that watch us, consistently we do a really good job against the run. I thought we didn't do a great job the last 2 weeks and back-to-back weeks of tackling, and a lot of it really showed up late in the game with the missed tackles in critical situations. And, you know, I think I addressed that. For me, I got to do a better job of playing a bunch of the younger guys earlier to take some reps off guys so that we can finish on the tackles, so we can take the proper angles and get the ball on the ground.
Mike, good afternoon. The cross-country mid-season trip. I think a lot of folks think it's like, oh, it's like a bowl trip, but it's not because you're in the middle of the swim of everything. Biggest lessons you guys learned from last year's trip to Oregon that will help you this year?
You know, I think we managed it the right way. You know, the big thing for us is when you travel across is to try to acclimate as quickly as possible. So we're leaving here bright and early, you know, Thursday morning to get there so that we are there in time with the sun out to go practice. Supposedly, when you practice in sunlight, it helps you acclimate and get the acclimation in part, and then we'll be able to do the things we need to do Friday like we would at home. I like the way that our staff has kind of set this up. We traveled, I thought, a year ago. We played Oregon pretty well, I thought, with the travel that we had. You know, it'll be, I think we've done things the right way from that standpoint, but it's still the second time we've done it. We'll continue to always evaluate it, but to me, it's just getting as much of the work done on the front end so that on the back end, and we were lucky enough that it's a 4 o'clock kick, which is no different than a night game for us. So it's just a matter of our guys making sure we get enough rest, recovery on the front end to be able to play.
And the way UCLA's come on offensively, what kind of things have you seen them do the last 2 weeks?
I mean, I think they've limited the exposing themselves with the negative plays. They're getting the ball out quick in the passing game. They're relying heavily on the run game and doing a really good job of blocking people up. They've made some plays on special teams. I think their fake punt was a huge deal, and they got a big 4th down stop a week ago against Michigan State that kind of changed the momentum in it. But I think most of all, they're playing really loose, and I mean, they're playing just as if they got nothing to lose, and to me that makes it easy for a team when you can just go out there and play without a lot of pressure.
Hi, Coach. How's it going?
D, what's up?
Hey, all is well. How have your leaders in the locker room been responding this week?
You know, they've been pretty consistent. I mean, if you look at that's the great thing about a young team is, as I always say, they don't know what they don't know. So each week is something new for them. We've had 2 weeks in a row where they put their best foot forward for 3.5 quarters, 3 quarters, and they know and understand that it's important, that the finish is just as important as anything we do, and especially, you know, the end of the game finish. And to me, as we show them on tape, as we talk them through the things that we need to do to improve as a 4th quarter team, we still have them listening. They're still listening, and the leaders are still leading. So I have no problem with the way our guys have been and responded, especially with the 2 tough losses. But I think they also, because we show them on Monday just really how close we are to having the things that we want to have as a program.
And when you spoke about getting younger guys in early. You focused on the defense, but do you feel the same way about the offense?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, we've played our left and right tackle have played almost every snap of every game. Alan Haran and Ratrell Perry, and to me, you know, in the past we've had, and I've been one of those guys, as I talk about being a developmental program, where I would force us to play young players. Hey, he got to play 15 plays. He's got to play in the first half, because I know that it's a point of diminishing return throughout the season. Well, you know, to win now, and when you start talking about the best is now and taking care, we got to get it to the 4th quarter, and that's where, you know, sometimes the lack of depth we have, and, you know, there's a drop-off between our first-team guys and some of the younger players that we will have to go in and play them. But we got to have the belief that we've recruited them here. They can help us. Those 10, 15 plays that we take off of a starter will be beneficial to both the starter and the young player, because now we're still bringing a guy along that we're going to need at some point during this season. We're only halfway through. We've dealt with some injuries. We've dealt with some guys that haven't been available, but I like the way this team is coming along. I think this team understands what we need to do, and we're all trying to do our part to keep ourselves healthy and in the best possible position to finish in the 4th quarter better.
Mike, this is a little off topic, but Malik has added 16 pounds from the spring game till now. Is that something you advised him to do? And have you seen that gain, impact him in his ability to be a quarterback?
You know, our strength coach, Ryan Davis, and our nutritionist and our sports performance team does a tremendous job. And, you know, when you talk about adding 16 pounds, it's usually 16 pounds of muscle. He's been here since January. Most people know that our players, we do a great job of developing our players bigger, stronger, faster. And, you know, if he's added the 16 pounds of muscle, it'll be to protect him. We're big on trying to create the armor that he needs on his body to keep him healthy and keep him protected. It's been the right kind of 16 pounds because if you look at the transformation of his body, maybe a little softer body, I think he's taken his nutrition, the nutrition piece to heart and has really worked hard.
And then on Saturday, Malik mentioned a players-only meeting. Do you, as a coach, like, do you find those meetings, can they be productive for the players?
We do players-only meetings every Thursday. That's why when I heard that, I mean, we do a player every Thursday. I meet with my leadership group, find out anything going on in the house that we need to talk about, and then they go down and have a players-only meeting with the messaging of what we need to do. So when I asked him about the players-only meeting, he said, we have it always. We always have players-only meetings on Thursday. So we're not there yet. If there are, it's mostly to make sure everybody's aligned on the same page of, hey, what do we need to do better? But not one of those players-only meetings that you typically think of, because we have them quite often as part of our development of our chemistry of our team.
Hey, Coach, wanted to ask you about the ground game on Saturday. Nolan Ray probably looked the best he's looked all year. Just what impressed you about your running game?
I thought the line of scrimmage, we controlled the line of scrimmage more consistently than we have all season long. We got an explosive run for the first time, I think, this year, a run over 20 yards, Nolan's touchdown. We need a lot more of that. We need that consistency, especially in the third and short situations. I think we had a 3rd and 2 and a 3rd and 1 that we weren't efficient on, and those are the ones that we got to figure out how to get those tough yardage that we need in critical situations like that.
How do you think you find find more, consistency in the run game, especially late in games?
Again, it's blocking people, being on the right leverage, doing a great job of running away from numbers, doing a great job of finishing our runs, and I thought our backs did a really good job of that. Zero, made a couple plays where, there are going to be times when you have to run the ball into numbers where if we recruit the right way, they're responsible for at least one of those guys that's unblocked, and I thought we did a couple times make that one guy miss, and then we just got to get it more consistent.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, this past weekend, the firing of James Franklin happened at Penn State. As someone who is in that position as a coach, when you see someone get fired, especially someone who you worked with at Maryland for a while, just kind of what goes through your mind?
I mean, it's part of the game. I mean, I've texted with James. It's the landscape we're in. Is it surprising? Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, they were in the semifinals, I think, a couple of years ago or last year or whatever it was. But it's the landscape. That's why the best is now and not ahead, because we learned very quickly that, you're only as good as the last game you played and the last game you've won. And as coaches, I think we all understand that. And as I've said, I'm at that point in my career where, it is what it is. We're going to coach the crap out of them, and if it's good enough, it's good enough. And, for James, obviously disappointed for him and his family, knowing him well, but has no bearing on what we got to do around here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll have our players available around 2:45. Anybody that's coming, I'll just meet you at the gate as normal. And it'll be Malik,